Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. Today I'm sharing the cards I made using Bella Boulevard's Let Us Adore Him collection. This is a super sweet Christian themed Christmas collection. Now they don't have 6x6 paper pads, they only have 12x12 paper, but I feel the designs are still small enough to work for cards. So let's go ahead and get started with card design number 1. I'm using some card sketches for inspiration. I don't always follow them exactly, but you can get an idea, and I do provide the measurements on the sketch, and these are all for American Standard A2 size cards. And you can find all of those sketches over on my coordinating blog post. That link is provided in the description box, or you can simply head over to kristiemarcotte.com. For this first card, the sketch is from Sugar Pea Designs. It's their Sugar Sketch number 26. I'm using this bright green plaid paper for the background, added a strip of the pattern paper with pink and also holly and little holly berries. For the two strips that go across the card underneath that circle, I have this pink, it's sort of a reddish pink pattern paper, and this is from Bella Boulevard's Bella Besties collection. It's a 6x6 paper pad. And I will be adding links to all of the products I use in this video in the description box below, or you can always check those out on my blog. Before attaching this pink strip, I did put some scrap cardstock pieces on the right and left side where it goes over that holly pattern paper. And then for that smaller strip, I used some solid green cardstock. Next, I'll add one of the ephemera pieces. It has this beautiful wreath. I did put that scrap cardstock piece on the back, and then I'll glue it down using some liquid adhesive. For the sentiment, this is also an ephemera piece, Believe in the Magic of Christmas. There are two different coordinating ephemera packs. One has the images and the other has the sentiments. And I did purchase two of each. Makes it easier to make multiples of the same card. To finish off the card, I'm adding a couple small mini heart peel-offs, and these are from Love from Lizi, using this baby pink color. And there is my finished card. I did make a total of 6 cards using this sketch. Since I only have 2 each of the ephemera pieces, for the other 2 cards I used some different pieces. The one in the middle, I also added a sentiment from Honeybee Stamps. It's so easy to create multiples of the same card using the 12x12 paper versus the 6x6 paper pads. Now moving on to card design number 2. I'm using another Sugar Pea Design sketch. This is Sugar Sketch number 23. One of my favorite papers in the whole collection, has baby Jesus, and on the back side it has some teal and white polka dots. The two designs work so nicely together, I decided to feature both patterns on this card. For the background, I have baby Jesus, adding just that small strip of the polka dot paper, since you'll only see a little bit on the right and left side. It'll be covered up by that large circle. I layered this on some pearlescent teal cardstock. Now adding a stitched circle die cut, and I did cut this out of some white shimmer cardstock. Now I'll bring in a couple of the die cut pieces. I have baby Jesus and the sentiment, Let Your Heart Be Light. I'll glue baby Jesus down in the center of that circle. On the sentiment, I do have some scrap cardstock pieces on the right and left side, just trying to keep everything nice and level. I'll add a couple small stitched banners in the upper left-hand corner, and these are dies from Jaded Blossom. I love using the 2 different sizes and layering them. Before attaching that smaller banner, I am putting just that tiny sliver of cardstock. That way it'll keep that second banner nice and level. To finish off the card, I'll add some mini star peel-offs in the gold glitter color, and these are from Love from Lizi. Put 1 star above baby Jesus, and then once I pulled out the other cards, I realized I forgot to add the 2 tiny gold stars on top of the banners. So there's my finished card, and this time I made a total of 5. Used some different ephemera pieces for the other cards, and the sentiment, Jesus is the reason for the season, is from Honeybee Stamps. It's included on their Inside Holiday Sentiment stamp set. Now moving on to card design number 3. The card sketch is from MFT. This is number 340. I have some of the teal polka dot paper, added a strip of the yellow tone-on-tone pattern paper with the crowns. Instead of adding a cardstock layer between those two patterns, I'm putting a Love from Lizi peel off. This is the pinstripe style in gold holographic color. It's super sparkly. Layer this piece on some teal cardstock. Put my card front onto a card base, leaving that 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. Generally for my cardstock layers, I add an additional 1/8 of an inch. So that background polka dot paper is 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches. When I saw this dome-shaped ephemera piece with Joseph, Mary, and baby Jesus, I knew this would be the perfect sketch. I'm using the sentiment, the light of the world, and I did cut a fishtail on the right side. Glued that down first, and I am popping up the image using some thin foam squares. Then to finish off the card, I'll add some more of the gold glitter stars, 2 in the upper right hand corner and 1 to the left of the image. Most of my cards are going to be fairly simple. I'm trying to keep them nice and flat so I'll be able to mail them without paying extra postage. So there's my finished card, and this time I made a total of 4. So for the second card, I have Mary and Joseph and the sentiment, let your heart be light. For card design number 4, I used the pattern paper that has a nativity scene. There's also some little areas that just have the animals and some trees. I cut out that image using a scallop rectangle die from Honeybee Stamps. I'll be adding a strip across the card using some leftover scraps from the Besties freehand graph and dot collection. I love how the colors match perfectly with their paper collections. Now I decided for that strip to go all the way across the card, so it is 5 1/2 inches long. First, I'll layer the star tone-on-tone pattern paper on some yellow cardstock and then again on some dark blue cardstock. I did put some scrap cardstock behind that scallop piece just for some extra stability. I'll put my card front onto a card base, and for this card I won't have any of the white card base showing. Next, I'll attach the scallop image to the center of the card. I'm using some liquid adhesive to adhere it in place. This scallop rectangle has a stitched frame all along the outside, and I will be covering that up. I wanted to add a little more sparkle to this card. So I'm using the gold holographic peel-offs from Love from Lizi. This is the pinstripe style. I'm using the widest width and adhering it on 3 of the sides. I won't put any on the bottom since I'll be adding a sentiment there. Now I do have them cut a little long, but that's because I'm using my craft knife and mitering the corners together to create this fun frame. So I'll just remove those extra little pieces, push everything down firmly so they won't fall off later. And then the sentiment, Jesus is the reason for the season. And that's that same sentiment from the Honeybee Stamps set. I'll cut a fishtail on both ends, then put liquid adhesive on the back and adhere it underneath the nativity scene. I'll still leave a little bit of that scallop border underneath the sentiment. And there is my finished card. I did make a total of 4 using this design. And for the other 3 cards, I put a glitter star on the star above baby Jesus. I just forgot to do it in the video. For card design number 5, I'm using a sketch from Sugar Pea Designs. This is Sugar Sketch number 44. I thought this sketch looked so fun, I had to try it. I'm adding 2 pattern papers to the background, some more of the teal polka dot paper, and also some of the Besties. I believe it's the paper that coordinates with their Chloe collection. I'm adding a teal mirror peel off between those 2 patterns, and I only need a very small piece since most of it will be covered up. One of my favorite patterns in the whole collection is this lovely floral design, and I decided to have that as the crooked element. I did put some measurements on this sketch, and those really are approximate measurements. I found the easiest way to do this sketch was to cut that pattern 3 1/2 inches wide. Then I just held it on top of the card, flipped over the panel and trimmed off the extra. And of course, while I'm doing the video, I put that piece on upside down. Luckily, I was able to remove it without ripping any of the paper. But I did put some liquid adhesive on the back just to make sure it'll still lay nice and flat. So now I have that fun design, and it doesn't have to be perfect. To add some separation between the floral pattern and those background patterns, I'm using some Love from Lizi peel-offs. This is the pink holographic color, which is one of my favorites. Using the narrowest width and putting it along the very edge of that floral paper. Then I'll miter that lower corner and then just remove the extra. Unless they're super tiny pieces, I do save all of the extra peel-off scraps. Sometimes you only need a little tiny piece. I'll put my card front onto a card base, leaving that 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. For the sentiment, I've already stamped this out. This is Thank You, and it's from Catherine Pooler's Thank You Many Ways stamp set. Even though this is a Christmas collection, there's still several patterns you could use year-round. So I thought having a few thank you cards would be perfect. Now, instead of the one banner that comes off to the left from that circle, I decided to add 2. I'm using some more scraps from the Bella Besties 6x6 paper collection. Just cut a fishtail on the left side. I'll attach that darker pink first and then the lighter pink on top. And I put liquid adhesive on the back and adhered the sentiment. For final finishing touch, I'm adding a few of the mini circle peel-offs. This is the teal mirror color, putting 3 of them in that upper right-hand corner. So there is my finished card, and this time I made a total of 8. All 8 cards feature that beautiful floral paper. 2 I have pink and teal, and 2 with yellow and green. The floral paper is one of my favorites, and I did end up buying 3 of the 12x12 sheets. For card design number 6, I'm using a card sketch for inspiration. This is MFT number 416, and I am not following the measurements on this sketch. For the background, I have some tone-on-tone pattern paper with some pine branches, layered it on some green cardstock. I'll put my card front onto a card base. I have some white shimmer cardstock for that top rectangle, and this is 2 1/8 inch by 4 inches. For the bottom, I'm using this rainbow stripe paper, and I did cut that a bit wider, so that's 1 inch. Layer both of those on that same green cardstock. And for the gap between the 2 pieces, I want to add some extra sparkles, so I'm using the gold holographic peel-offs. These are perfect for Christmas. They are super sparkly. I'll put some ATG tape on the back and adhere this panel onto the background. Now I'll bring in a few of the tree ephemera pieces. There's quite a few, so I thought it looked really pretty to have the 3 together on that upper section. I'll adhere the one with the star in the center, then adding one with little hearts, and then the other has some stripes. And I do have the trunks going down into that stripe paper. For the sentiment, I'm using Merry Christmas. This is another ephemera piece, just gluing it down underneath all 3 of those trees. To finish off the card, I'll add a gold glitter star to the center of that large star. Super simple card. I love how this one turned out, and I did make a total of 6. So there are a few more of the trees, and for the final card I put the word joy, and I used the flower for the O. For their example on the ephemera, they have the wreath, but I thought the flower looked really pretty. I added a glitter mini circle peel-off to the center of the flower. And then also some holly leaves and holly berries to the left of the To the World sentiment. For card design number 7, I have some yellow plaid paper for the background, using some more of the gold holographic peel-offs, putting 2 of them across the lower portion of the card. And I don't need to put full strips since most of that will be covered up. So this is where you can use those small peel-off scraps. I'll wrap the ends around the back, put some ATG tape on the back of this piece, layer it first on some yellow cardstock, and then again on some gold pearlescent cardstock. Then I can put my card front onto a card base. And this really is another very simple card design. But adding the pearlescent cardstock and the sparkly peel-offs really make a difference. Next, I'll add a stitched arch die cut, and I use some of the white shimmer cardstock for that. Glue it down to the center of the card. I have several ephemera pieces. Baby Jesus, Mary and Joseph. I have the star and the sentiment, wonders of his love. I am popping up some of the pieces. So Mary and Joseph I glued down, and also the star I'll glue down. Popped up baby Jesus and also the sentiment. But this is thin foam dimension, so you could still mail this card without paying extra postage. Adhere the star above baby Jesus. Then finish it off, I'll add a gold glitter star to the center. And there is my finished card. Very simple design. I did make a total of 4. For the other 2, I switched it using the red pattern paper for the background. I have baby Jesus, several stars, and also the angel hovering above baby Jesus. For card design number 8, I'm using one of my favorite card sketches. This is from OWH. It's number 218. This is one of my favorite card sketches when I need to make a lot of cards. One of my favorite things about this sketch, you can add that sentiment on the banner in the lower left-hand corner, and then you can feature some beautiful pattern paper with that larger rectangle. I have some yellow pearlescent cardstock for the background that has a linen texture on it, using 2 different pattern papers, the red and white polka dot, and also the pattern that has a lot of different Christmas sentiments. I added some Love from Lizi peel-offs along the edge of the red and white polka dot paper. I believe this is the ruby red mirror color. Layered everything on some red cardstock, put my card front onto a card base. And most of the time when I use this sketch, I do follow those measurements fairly closely. Before attaching the sentiment pattern paper, I did put some scrap cardstock on the back side, just on the upper portion. Now, since there's already a bunch of sentiments on the pattern paper, I decided it really didn't need a stamped sentiment or even another sentiment ephemera piece. So instead, I put 2 of the ephemera presents, and I popped them up using some thin foam squares. Then to finish up the card, I'll add 3 mini circles. These are the gold peel-offs from Love from Lizi. So there's my finished card, and I did make a total of 6. For the other cards, I used different ephemera pieces, including that large 25. And I also alternated between the medium-sized circle and the mini circles from the peel-offs. Now here's another look at the 43 cards I made using Bella Boulevard's Let Us Adore Him collection. I love this collection. You don't see a lot of Christian Christmas collections very often, and this one has a very cutesy look to it. Many of the designs in the collection you could use year-round. As you can see, most of my backgrounds aren't really Christmas themed. I do have links provided in the description box if you are interested in any of the products I used in this video. I know I've already met my goal of 300 Christmas cards for the year, but I'm not sure if I'm done making Christmas cards. I know Doodlebug just released their Let It Snow collection. I don't have it yet, but I may still try to sneak in that video this year. The holiday season is always really busy, so I may not have the extra time this year, but I'll definitely use it at some point next year. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.